Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to Magnificent Mondays. I nearly said the Monday moan. I got so used to saying that. Welcome to Magnificent Mondays, and as you saw from that trailer, we're doing The Fifth Element. And I've come to learn that one of our viewers tonight may not like this film. But anyway. There we go, yes. Right, so The Fifth Element, 1997. In my opinion, it's kind of a modern classic. In my opinion, I love this film. It's got amazing production design and a cool story, very comic booky, inspired by the French sci-fi comics, of that I've never read, but I bet everybody else has. What else? Directed by Luc Besson, who you may know from such films as like Taxi and others. What was that Jean Reno film? I forgot to call it now. Is it? I can't remember. The one with Natalie Portman in. He did that one, which I've never seen. But yeah, we're doing that right. So just let me get rid of that. And we'll get on with the film. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, and share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell. If you're subscribed already, join us in the live chat, because we are live. We're live on YouTube. Yes, we are. We're live on Rumble. Yes, we are. And we're live on Twitch. Yes, we are. Right. So we can get on with the film. Now, as usual, we're not just watching it, because that'd be wrong. So I'm going to go through it in a series of stills and talk about it. And I don't know a huge amount about it, to be honest, but we'll discuss it as we go. Right. So anyway, The Fifth Element, directed by Luc Besson. At the time, it was the highest. Sorry, not highest. Most expensive French film ever made. $90 million budget. And according to Wikipedia, it says they were the most expensive European film made. Does that include British films? Because there were some quite expensive British films made. I suppose they're like British American, but whatever. But until 2011, it was the most expensive European film ever made. And it grossed at the box office $264 million, which is not bad. That makes it a mild success, I suppose. And I'm surprised they haven't tried to get him to do a sequel. But anyway, it stars Bruce Willis, as you know, Gary Oldman, Ian Holm, Milla Jovovich. Is it Jovovich or Jovovich? Whatever. Chris Tucker, and many, many more. The production design, I don't know, was inspired by Mobius. That's what I was trying to think of, Mobius. But the costume design was by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and you can tell because there's some wacky costume designs and some wacky production designs as well. You can imagine the production design drawings being, a bit out there, and they've done their best to recreate it on film, and they've done a decent job. Right, so let's get on with the film. I met myself titchy tiny, as I normally do, and go full screen with this bugger. Right, have I muted it? No, I've not. I've now. By the way, yes, thought I mentioned it. There's the Blu-ray. There we go. Kind of lacking on special features, sadly, but never mind. I've got the DVD somewhere, which was amazing. It's an amazing disc. I think it's upstairs. I think my son's got it. It's a big yellow box. It looks like one of the cabs. Looks like Corbin Dallas's cab in the film. With loads of special features. Then the Blu-ray comes out. It's sod all with it. Unbelievable. Right, let's get this film going. Right, so off we go. How are we going? Is it going to do something? Here we go. The old D. Come on, you can go further than that. Right. The old Columbia Pictures thing. By the way, it's also available on what do you call it? Amazon Prime Video, because I just bought it. That's what I just watched it on. To be honest, that's why I'm late today, because I forgot to watch it earlier on. I got busy doing other things, and I forgot to watch it, so I was just catching up on Amazon Prime. Only $3.99 for the the 4K version. Not that you can really tell, but never mind. Anyway, off we go. Right, come on. Oh, it's going to take a long time. Is this? Do it this way. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to have to get the thing up. There we go. It starts, by the way, Gaumont, by the way, is the main production company. It says Columbia Pictures Presents, but it just says a film, un film de Luc Besson. But it was like a Gaumont production. The production company that did it was Gaumont. Well, most of it's obviously a French production company. Well, before this, in the non-French world, were more famous, I think, for doing the Asterix animated films and stuff like that, which I loved back in the day. Anyway, right, so off we go. So we start off with. I wish I'd got a better version of this on the computer. I should have just ripped the Blu-ray. It's the DVD version I've got. Should have just ripped the Blu-ray, shouldn't I? Never mind. Right, we start off with obviously the cast list, and we see like rocks coming towards us, and I don't really understand what this this represents. I think it's just a cool opening title sequence. There we go. Music by Eric Serra. The music's a bit hit and miss in this film, to be completely honest. It's sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes I'm like thinking, what the hell am I listening to? Anyway, we begin in Egypt in 1914. If it's going to show us it in a minute. They're cool space shots, by the way. The effects in this film are amazing. Well, I think they are. And they still stand up to this day. What's happening here? Right, so we start. We're in Egypt in 1914. And we see a young lad with carrying water. He's bringing water to all his friends. There they are. And going inside. They're in some structure. It looks a bit Tower of Babel like a structure in somewhere in Egypt. Obviously some sort of temple or whatever. So in he goes. Here we meet our first main characters. Well, one of them, Luke Perry, the late Luke Perry, who's in this, who gets like a pretty, prominent credit, but is only in this for like 5 minutes at the beginning. It barely features in it. Anyway, here he is. There's Luke Perry sitting down. I don't know who this fella is. I don't even know the name of the character, to be honest. Does it say? I bet it doesn't even say. Oh yes, John Bluthal as Professor Piccoli. I guess that's it. I don't actually know. But Luke Perry's playing Billy Masterson. As I said, it barely features in the film. Barely features in it. But anyways, drawing a picture and looking at some hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs is the professor, and trying to understand what they mean. He keeps telling this young lad to keep the using reflected light so he can see. As is light. Oh, pardon me. So he's trying to work out what these hieroglyphs mean. But we soon find out. Hello, DJ. Welcome to the show. Just started. I'm running late. I just started. Anyway, so here he is. He's looking at this pattern that we see, this triangle pattern. You don't understand what this could mean. It doesn't look like any of the other hieroglyphs. That's what he's saying. Then a dodgy-looking fella arrives, this chap. I presume he's got a name as well. Let's have a look, see if we can find out. Let's look on IMDb. See if it says... I don't know. I'm going to have to go into the all cast and crew. Because it's quite a big cast. There's quite a lot of characters in this film. It's not him, is it? Is it? Could be. I don't know. It just says priest. Is it him? I've no idea. I guess it is. Just says priest. It says John Bennett. Let's have a look. See if that's him. See if we get a picture of him. Yes, it is. That's John Bennett as priest. He doesn't have a name. Right. So anyway, he arrives. He's up to no good. He's actually one of the good guys, technically, but he basically wants to kill these two. He wants to kill Luke Perry and the Professor because they've stumbled upon the great secret that his Brotherhood have been protecting for 5,000 years or thereabouts. So anyway, so he's brought some poison. He's put some poison in the kids' water that the kids brought, and so he's going to kill them with poison, so the secret stays secret. Little does he know that the secret is going to get out any minute because something arrives. Here it is. A big blooming spaceship arrives. I probably missed it. There we go. A big blooming spaceship arrives, and this is I can't remember, something like Mandoshawans, something like that. Something along them lines. Mondoshawans. I don't know how you pronounce it. They say it a couple of times in the film. They arrive anyway, and these are like some funky looking aliens, kind of like robots, but maybe they're not. I don't know. Anyway, they arrive. See them. So that's a cool production design. And they come stomping down. Here we are. We're getting glimpses of them. Luke Perry's trying to find he's got his gun. He's trying to find his bullets, I suppose. And this the priest is trying to, adjure to them, saying, I've tried to, keep the secret and protect the stones. The protecting the stones, by the way, that we see later in the film. But he's told that war is coming. It's 1914, remember, the eve of the First World War. So he says the war is coming. The stones are no longer safe on Earth, so they've got to take them away. And he says to the priest, not him, that's the professor. He says to the priest, stay vigilant. When in 300 years when the darkness returns in 300 years. We will come back. Then he goes up to the professor. The professor says, "Are you German?" And he goes, but anyway, right. So they open up. It presses obviously does this. Opens up the temple. There we go. And then they go inside, and we see the 4 stones that represent the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Spoilers. And in the middle is the representation of the 5th element, which is the supreme being that can use the power of the other 4 elements to destroy the darkness. So that to collect the stones, they put them in this case. There we go. This case features heavily in the film. And they're going to take them away for safekeeping for 300 years. This is Luke Perry with his gun. But he's like saying, stop what you're doing or whatever. So, all right, hang on, I've gone too far. Gone too far, because I'm hopeless. There we go. He shoots, and he accidentally shoots his gun. He falls over. I think we're going to see it here. Beast, tries to stop him. Falls over, and his gun goes off, and accidentally starts the door closing before the last of the Mandoshawans comes out. There he is, and there we go. And the door starts closing, and Mandoshawan says, we will return when the darkness comes, or whatever. 300 years. The door's closing, and then he leaves his key. Don't know how they get rid of this. I'm going to see it in a minute. Extends his arm just as the door shuts. Here we go. That's the key to the temple, but there's a big dirty great metal hand sticking in there. So presumably they get rid of that, because I don't think we see that later on, and it was never found by archaeologists. Presumably found some way he must have got a broom handle or something and shoved it back in. But I don't think we even see the body of that creature later on, because we return here at the end of the film, and I don't think we do. I could be mistaken. Anyway, then we cut to the ship takes off, and then we cut to 300 years later in the 23rd century. Exactly. If these creatures trip and fall, how can they get up? They can barely walk. I know. I know. You have to think of things like this. Plus they're aliens. They've probably got anti-grav repulsors. Anyway, the ship takes off. And, he's saying, "I will keep the secret," and all that stuff. There we go. And up it goes into space. Doing very good skips, is it? Like I say, cool effects. It looks cool when it takes off. A great design. Anyway, off it goes. There we go. Off it goes into space. And then we cut to 300 years later. And we're in space somewhere. We're aboard some warships. This is John Neville, you may know from various things. Famously in the X-Files, he played the, what they call him, smart dressed man or something like that. Kind of a baddie, but also a goodie. But anyway, whatever. We're in the X-Files. Been in loads of other stuff as well. He's playing a general in this, and they've detected something approaching Earth, or there's something in space that they don't know what it is. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's not a lot of real world science in this film, to be completely honest. You've just to go with it. Anyway, our New York City headquarters. This is the president, Tiny Lister, who you may know from like Hulk Hogan films and stuff like that. He's on the communications with the general. This is Ian Holm as the latest of the Brotherhood to guard the Stone's Eggs. He's got the symbol of the 4 elements on his belt buckle. That's his assistant there. You can just make him out there in the corner. Right, what next? So they've detected this like a dark, I think they call it a dark planet or something like that. That's like just appeared, and it's growing. They're trying to work out what to do. Obviously, the general wants to shoot it. Crikey, Ian Holmes got a red eye there, hasn't he? Crikey, that's scary, isn't it? What's happened there? They've been in a fight, or is it a bit of pink eye? Needs his pillowcases cleaning. Anyway, so they've. Ian Holm tells the president, by the way, did I say he's playing the president, his Tiny Lister? He said the president, don't shoot at it. If you shoot it, it'll only make it more powerful. So the president says to the general, "I have doubts," and the general says, "I don't," and he shoots his missiles at the alien thing, but it doesn't do any good. It just grows even more. And there we go. It's sending out signals. It does this a few times in the film. It's like, I think it's supposed to be blood or black oil or something come from your brain, I suppose. I don't know. We see it a couple of times. It's not supposed to make that. It's just to signify how evil this dark planet force is. There is an intelligence behind it it's called Mr. Shadow, but we never see it or him. There we go. That's that's the closest we get to seeing it. Some skull-like visage. Then Corbin Dallas wakes up in his New York apartment. This New York that we see in this film is probably the best representation, apart from the 1995 Judge Dredd film, the best representation of Mega City 1 on film. It's supposed to be New York in the 23rd century. No Starfleet, I'm afraid, win grace, but never mind. Anyways, just woke up. So, right. So we find he's got a cat, and he's an ex-soldier, and he's working as a cab driver. He's got a cigarette dispenser here. Look at the cigarettes. Oh, you can't see them for me. Just let me move my head a minute. I can't, can I? How can I move myself to? We'll do it like that. There we go. There's the cigarette dispenser. Look at the massive filters on the cigarette with a tiny little bit of tobacco. Oh dear. Right. Go back to that. Because smoking's bad for you, and it's telling you to quit smoking on the cigarette dispenser. But anyway, so he's on the phone to his boss at the taxi firm, saying he's got to go in for his 6-month overhaul of his taxi. He's got 5 points left on his license. So he's in danger of losing his license. Every time you commit, an infraction, you get points knocked off your license. So there's only 5 points left. Then what happens? So he's got to go to work. See on this on the TV, there's a dream trip to Floston Paradise with Ruby Rod, who features heavily in the film later on. A little bit too heavily in places, but he is funny. Played by Chris Tucker. But then it's the first intimation of where we're going later in the film. All right. So anyway, I'm going too far doing it like this now. Look, there we go. His doorbell goes, or there's a knock on his door. I can't remember which. And he looks at his screen, and he just sees it's an empty corridor. So he opens the door. It's not an empty corridor. It's this fella with a picture of the corridor on his head, and he's got a gun. He wants all the cash, and he looks a bit hyper. There's a lot of like quirky characters in this. It's highly stylized, and it's not for everybody, I imagine, but I like it. But some of the characters are a bit much, such as this fella. It seems a bit too hyper. He doesn't know anything about the gun he's got. God knows where he got it from. But Corbin Dallas, Bruce Willis, soon disarms him and sends him on his way. Takes the gun off him. There you go. And he says, "Nice hat." And then he just does a little dance to the fella and then goes. So anyway, right. So he's getting into his cab. This is his cab. And I'm going to see him drive out now. He's been told he's got 5 points left on his license. And off he goes into the New York traffic. Here we go. Beep, beep. And off he goes. And are we going to see it yet? I don't think we're going to see it yet. I think it comes later on. They're not showing us it yet because it is quite a reveal, to be completely honest. Right, so we're back with Ian Holm as Cornelius. That's his name. Father Cornelius is telling them all about the fifth element, and the Mandoshians are coming back with the fifth element, with the 4 stones, so that the fifth element can be summoned to destroy the darkness. And then we learn that Mandoshian ship is waiting by the border. I don't know how this works. We'll see in a minute. Bringing the stones, so they say let them through. So we're going to see that in a moment. I do believe. Hopefully, if I can land on it. There we go. This is the Mandoshian ship. This is the board. It's just a line of red lights. It's a bit like a not very good version of the Frontier in Last Starfighter. At least that was a huge wall of these things. This is just a line of them. And some turn green and it can fly through. But unfortunately, as soon as it flies through, some Mangalores, not Mandalores, Mangalores arrive. These are the Mandoshians that we saw at the beginning of the film. I presume one of these, by the way, one of these must be the fifth element, because they find some survivor or part of one of these left that's still alive, just his hand, and they can reconstruct the fifth element from that. Anyway. So some Mangalores arrive. Here we go. We're going to see them in a minute. There we are. There's the Mangalores. They're like a warrior race and mercenaries. And they've obviously been hired to intercept the Mandoshians. There we are, shooting at it. Pew pews and stuff. Pew pews are fine in this case, Wingrace, if you're still watching. So they take out the Mandoshian ship and it crashes onto this unknown planet. I don't know where it is, but it crashes onto this planet. And then we cut to Ian Holm saying, "We are lost," in a minute when we're done with this. Says, "We are lost, everything's it depended on that." But they find some, by the way, they've got 48 hours, by the way. There is a ticking clock. They've got 48 hours before the dark planet reaches Earth or whatever and destroys all life everywhere. But they sent ships to this planet. So they find not a survivor, but a part of a part of one of the, I presume one of the Mandosha ones that's still alive, and so they bring it to this facility here, and it's obviously weird lighting, and I think in this scene it says, it looks weird or whatever. That's just to highlight it. By the way, the doctor here, Doctor Who, him, I can't remember his name. What's his blooming name? He's a really good character actor. I know it when I see it. It's not going to be there, is it? No, it'll be in the. Where are we? Christopher Fairbank. There we go. That's Christopher Fairbank. A really good British character actor. He plays the main doctor. He was having a good smile with his green eyes, just in this lighting. Anyway, so they're going to recreate the fifth element from what's left of it in this this big machine. I forgot what to call it now. A nuclear restorer, something like that they call it. Some goofy name. And so they're going to regrow the fifth element. And we all know what's going to happen here, don't we? But it's a cool scene. Some cool CGI in this film, some cool model work. I think the city is essentially huge models. I think they did 8 of them in total. But there's a lot of, I think the cars flying about and stuff like that, CG. And I think a lot of this is CG. This sequence that we're going to see here, where they recreate the fifth element. Here it goes. Starts off, look, starts recreating the whatever it was in there. Oh no, it's the it's the statue, isn't it, that they got at the beginning? That were in the it's been asleep as the fifth element for 5,000 years inside that, like a sarcophagus that they got at the beginning. This is all that's left of it, isn't it? Yeah. Tell you I'm dead thick. Anyway, so I've just realised that. So anyway, so the start off it goes, doing its stuff, and then building up their head, the skull, doing all the stuff. There we go. The state of the art, that. It's CG. It looks like it's done on a BBC micro, doesn't it? Anyway, never mind. So here we go. It's going to put the musculature in now. Another cool thing. That goes, there we go. Cool. And once all that's done, they bombard it with greasy solar radiation or something along those lines to make it form skin. That's the thinking. It's probably going to be, a male, but we all know it's not going to be. Well, there we go. We know it's Milla Jovovich. I'm glad I paused that. Oh no, I didn't. Hang on. Ooh, crikey. Hope YouTube didn't notice that. It's Milla Jovovich in the nude. Obviously, she's been recreated. They cover her up with the famous bandages, and there we go. She's perfect. I won't go that far. I mean, I like Milla Jovovich. She's a cool actress and she's super attractive, but I wouldn't say perfect. You know what I'm like. I like a specific assets. But anyway, moving on. The saying she's perfect. And then the reviver. So she does a lot of writhing about as the reviver. Then so she's a witness. Starts speaking in the language. Sorry, it was my cat. Right, you're going to start, aren't you? Like you did yesterday. She's been naughty. She starts speaking in a language they don't understand, and the general here, Brian James, the late Brian James, this general, is actually a goodie in this. He's saying to her, "You're going to have to work on those communication skills." So she bursts through the unbreakable glass and grabs his key card there to get to escape in a moment. There she's got out now, so the police are coming. Cool police uniforms, by the way. She's leaped out through the. I have to go back again and have to see that. Well, there we go. Whee! There you go. She leaped through the tinfoil walls. They're not unbreakable, are they? Stay. For Fairbanks is obviously madly in love with Milla Jovovich. By the way, Jean-Luc Luc Besson and Milla Jovovich got married because of this film. Obviously, they met making this film, and they got married and then divorced 2 years later. I think she did this film and then a film about Joan of Arc with him, and then they got divorced. She was only 22 when this film came out, so probably 21 when they were making it, so she was very young. Anyway, so she's got into the what do you call it, vent system, and so she gets outside. This is where we first see New York. We're going to see it now. This is she's looking at it. Go on, show us. Show us. There we go. Let's first look at New York in the 23rd century with taxi cabs flying about and all sorts of stuff. All looks cool. A very mega city one. Oh, she's got to work. She's got to work out what she's going to do. The police are after her. All the police look the same. The police in charge, for some reason, they put these helmets on them. They all look alike. Anyway, never mind. Right, so a police car arrives. Obviously, a hover car arrives, and she leaps off. There we go. She leaps off. And says, "Oh, she's dived off." Down she goes. A minute. There she goes. Down she goes, and into the back. We're going to see it in a minute. Here we go. Now you can see it. Look, there's Corbin Dallas's taxi. And so she lands in the back of Corbin Dallas's taxi. And he's like, "What the bloody hell?" And says, "Anybody alive in there? Any survivors?" And obviously she's there. She gives a lovely smile. See if I can catch it. There she is, that lovely smile. That won my heart for Milla Jovovich, that smile did. Just wish she had some eyebrows. But anyway, so she starts explaining to him in her own language. I think she's actually explaining everything to him, but obviously he doesn't understand. But from the way she talks, it sounds like she's telling him all about what happened. That she arrived with the Mandoshians, they were attacked and their ship crashed. And she says, "There was a big boom." And he says, "Oh, yes, I understand that boom." There we got the old bada boom. That she's telling him that. And then the police arrive again and they tell him to his passenger is under arrest. And then she sees this. I'm going to see it here. Oh, I missed it. I'm too far. She quickly learns to read English. She can't speak it, but she quickly learns to read it. Oh, let's see if I'm too far now. They're telling him to, cooperate. They're going to arrest her because she's a wanted, person. Show us. Getting ready, and she asks for help because she reads it on this. What is it? Anyway, there's a little sign in the back of the car that says "Please help" and a phone number. I think it's for homeless kids or some charity or third world charity, something like that. And it says so she can read that. She can't speak English, but she obviously can read it. She's going, "Please help, help." But first he won't, and they fasten his cab to the police car. Oh, we're going to see it here now, I think, are we? No, she's really. Please help. And he decides, right, he's going to help her. So he drives off while the cab's attached to the police car, and it rips out the winch. And so they're now fugitives, and the police are after them now. The captain, I think he's the captain of the Red Dwarf, isn't he? I don't know the name of the actor, but he's the captain of the Red Dwarf in the Red Dwarf TV series, playing this cop, getting his McDonald's look. There we are. Don't have people like that at my local McDonald's. I wish the blooming did. Anyway, Corbin goes flying past, makes him spill his drink. It's hilarious. Anyway, so they're being chased now by the cops, and in a cool scene, and they're going to start shooting at him in a minute. There we go, because he's got a jammer, so they can't scan him to see who he is. He must have something, that transponder or something, and he's got a jammer on board. Don't know why. Maybe it's a military thing that is, stolen or whatever. I don't know. But it says that means he's a car thief. Means we can shoot him down. So I'm going to try and shoot him down. But obviously they don't succeed. But loads of other cop cars appear. We're going to see it now, I think. Here we go. There we go. Loads of others appear and start shooting at his cab, which must be hugely bulletproof. Anyway, they have to head down to the fog, to the lower levels of New York City. So they have to go flying down through the traffic. Hopefully they'll be safe in the fog. And police cars are scanning the fog looking for him, but obviously it's to no avail. And they get away. I think she's unconscious because he's been driving about. She's been, bouncing about in the back of his cab. And he says, Cornelius. So obviously must look up Cornelius in the phone book, knows where he lives. That's where Ian Holmes here. Takes her in. He says, I need a priest, because she says the priest Cornelius. He says, weddings are down the hall. And he soon realizes she's the fifth element, because she's got like a tattoo on her arm, like, with the symbols on, like he has on his belt buckle. Not a tattoo, birthmark, I suppose it would be. He's like, she's the fifth element. So anyway, he starts telling him all this stuff, but he don't understand. Obviously, Corbin's no idea what's going on. His assistant's making some clothes. He goes and he tries to kiss her, so she pulls a gun on him. Don't know where she got that from, but she pulls a gun on him, and obviously says no. And he says, sorry, I didn't mean that. And this is where we learn a name now. So he says he's Corbin Dallas. He says, what's your name? And she gives this long name, all that, and shortens it down to Lilu. So she's called Lilu. Right. So anyway, Ian Holmes sends him packing. Says, thank you for your help. Off you go. Sends him packing. So he goes back to his apartment, and his boss phones and tells him, where have you been? I've been waiting. He's supposed to be going for his 6-month overhaul. He tells him he got this new fare. The fare he couldn't resist, and what's her name? Lilu, right? Anyway, back at Cornelius's, Lilu's reading up on history and stuff, and eating a lot. She sprinkles something in there, and then pops it in. It's a bit like that pizza or that thing on Back to the Future 2, where they put a tiny little thing in like a microwave, or whatever, and then push the button and brought a massive pizza out. She does that with this. She puts an empty, a dish that she's just sprinkled something in, presses a button, it goes ping, she opens it up, and there's a huge chicken on, so she's not a vegetarian, is she? There we go, look. That's the 23rd century for you. Hang on. So she's learning, all the history and stuff, and she's got to work out, where the stones are, basically, and she learns it. We learn that it's on Floston Paradise, the planet Floston, where Floston Paradise is. That's where the stones are. Now we meet. I forgot his bloody name now. Zorg. This is. I can't remember that. Zorg. Is it Zorg? I can't bloody remember his name. Yes, Zorg. Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. I don't know why that would escape me. We meet him, played by Gary Oldman, one of his best roles, in my opinion. He's great in this. He's told, one of his minions is running up to him saying, we're told by, accounts or whatever, or corporate, that we need to let go of 500,000 people, maybe from one of the, the cab companies or something like that. The cab companies employ 500,000 people. I don't know. Maybe in the 23rd century they do. Zorg says, fire 1 million. So he's not against firing 1 million people. And we see he's got a limp as he's walking away. But here he's got must have like a built-up shoe or something. Can hear him clattering across the floor. Because then we go back to Ian Holmes, who's thinking, there were a fella that called a few days ago. A man with a limp claimed to be an art dealer. That obviously was Zorg. Now, he's found some clothes for Lilu. So he's going to give her those for her to look through. And also a makeup machine that she puts makeup on. So that's that. Right, these are the Mangalores that are working for Zorg. They're arriving. I think they've got names. I think they have. What's the main one called? I don't know, to be honest. I'm trying to see. No, it's not saying. It's not saying. It just says Mondo. No, that's them, innit? That's Mondosha ones are the others. These are Mangalores. No, it doesn't say. Doesn't say on. Oh, there we go. There's Aconit, Kino. I don't know which is which. Aknot. I think this is Aknot, or I could be wrong. I don't bloody know. I don't know which is which. I can't remember. Does it say? Does it say? It should be quite high up the list, this fella, but I can't bloody find him. Never mind. Never mind. No, can't see him. You let me down, IMDb. Never mind. Anyway, so these are arriving at Zorg with Zorg's place. There he is. With the case, he thinks he's getting the 4 stones. And in the exchange, he's giving them weapons. So we're going to get a demonstration of the weapons now. There you go. I think it's ZF1 or something it's called, something like that. Which does all this cool stuff. There you go. It's got a flamethrower and a rocket launcher, and it's got the replay button or something like that. You fire one shot, and then every shot afterwards will go to that place, no matter where you fire it, which is cool. All the features as well. So I was going to give them 5 cases of those for the stuff. There's showing it there. Look. Anyway, so I was doing that. Just remember the warriors. But this is where we learn. Oh, he opens it up, and no stones in it. So then we cut to them, as you say, the stones have been hidden, and we learn that with the I forgot a name. Plavila Blogulug, or whatever the hell they call her. Diva Plava Laguna, that's with her at Floston Paradise. That's what we learn. So Zorg's not happy. He hasn't got the stones. He says, 5 cases for 4 stones. 0 stones means 0 cases. He ends up giving him 1 case anyway. So, but he says they never asked what the red button were for, and it apparently blows them up in a minute. Then he says, "Bring me the priest." So they go and his goons go and get Cornelius, and he says, "Oh, it's you. You called asking, about the 4 elements or whatever." And then he has this little scene to Zorg. There we go. Where he uses all of his machinery to clean up a glass, and he's showing how he's not evil. Even chaos and destruction, like a broken glass, things can create a ballet of cleaning up. And those machines people have designed them and built them and all that. So he's saying, I do a public service, and then he nearly chokes on a cherry. He's choking on his cherry, and God knows what that is. I presume it's either an alien or some genetically engineered pet. I have no idea, but it pops up a couple of times. Anyway, Cornelius saves his life. He pats him on the back eventually. Saying, where's your robot to pat you on the back? All this is worthless. You've all these billions, and you're going to get your empire's going to fall because of one little cherry. But he does save him. So he throws him out. And he says, "You saved my life, so I'm going to return the favour this time." So anyway, right. So they've got to do something now. We saw the president there. Their plan is now. Hang on, let's go back. They've got to work out where these stones are. So they're all these different people are going on this different mission to Floston Paradise now. There's a military mission. There's the Cornelius's mission. There's Zorg's mission, and there's the Mangalores, who didn't die when they blew up. When they pressed the red button on the gun, there was a big explosion, but they didn't die. But they just got hurt. So they want revenge on Zorg now. So they're that's, by the way, that's how Zorg learns of the military plan to get to Floston Paradise. See if I can find it. I'll tell you. There we go. His henchman, who I think is called Right Arm or something like that, has got like a spy bug. So he hears everything, what their plan's going to be. So that's how he knows. Then we cut back to Corbin, who's having his dinner from this fella here who sells his Chinese food from a boat that flies. But anyway, we learn here that he's fired. There we go. Your engagement with this company, it finishes immediately due to those violation of those codes. But he'd probably been fired anyway. I presume they're using that he's lost his license, but he'd probably been fired anyway because they were firing 1 million people, weren't they? But anyway, so he's being fired. But then he also learned he's won a competition to go to Floston Paradise, and his mum phones him up and says, why haven't you phoned me? Why aren't you taking me with you to Floston Paradise? And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't won anything. And then the general arrives with his staff and tells them they've got a job for him. And turns out it's them that's arranged for him to go to win the trip to Floston Paradise. So anyway, then Lilu arrives, and Cornelius, but we just see Lilu at first. So he sees in the little TV screen. He says, "Oh, it's my new wife," because apparently he's just been divorced, by the way. As Corbin Dallas. So he says she can't see the military. She hates the military. So he hides these in the fridge. There he goes, pushing them into the fridge. Look, so won't fit in. Yes, you will. So he shoves them in the fridge, and then he opens the door, but it's Cornelius with a gun. So he's learned. Everybody knows, by the way, that Corbin Dallas has won the trip to Floston Paradise. So they want his ticket, and then the police are arriving now. There's a police raid, so he hides Lilu in the shower, and he hides Cornelius in the bed because the little tiny apartments, everything all folds into each other and slides into drawers and stuff. So he hides them, and hang on. So the police arrive and they say to him, "Oh, there he goes, hide him in there. Look, there we go. There's no number on this door." So they're calling. You've got to put your hands on the yellow dots. We see that a couple of times and say, "Are you human?" He says, "No, I'm a meat popsicle." But then they see Corbin Dallas's apartment had his cab, like his card in the door thing, and but Lilu had moved it to another flat, another apartment. So they think they've got the fella, but it's the wrong one. See, they find this other one. This is like next door or whatever. See, it says there Corbin Dallas, and the fella inside him, they say, cooperate, and he just goes up and gives them the finger. So they go in and drag him out. And they've got Corbin Dallas. Obviously, they haven't. Anyway, Zorg thinks his men are going to the spaceport, and they're gonna, brilliant coppers. Yeah, So Zorg's sending his men to the spaceport to assume Corbin Dallas's place on the flight to Floston Paradise. Meanwhile, Corbin's getting Lilu out of the shower. He forgot the auto wash. Auto wash. So she's wet through. It's just an excuse for her to take her top off again. Anyway, so he dries her off. Then he remembers about Cornelius. Hang on, gone too far. There we go. Remembers about Cornelius, and then Cornelius sees the ticket to Floston Palace, so he grabs that and knocks out Corbin Dallas. There we go. Boink. So they leg it. Corbin Dallas, gets up and decides to take the job. Military, they had like a contract or something, I don't know. She says, I'll take the job. They're not dead, don't worry, in the fridge. We see him again. So we're going to the spaceport, and there's a huge pile of garbage there, and it's never explained. Somebody says, I'm sorry about the garbage, but that's it. So I don't know why there's a huge pile of garbage at the spaceport. There just is. Right, so Cornelius is going to send his young assistant. I don't know his name, I'm sorry. He's going to go with Lilu to Floston Paradise. He's going to pretend to be Corbin Dallas, by the way. So here we go. Costumes designed by he's a Thermian, is he? All right. Costumes designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier. You can tell. That's the bonkers. Here he is, pretending to be Corbin Dallas, but then the real Corbin Dallas appears. Here he is, and says, "Oh, I thought I wasn't going to make it. Thank you for saving my place." So there you go. The famous Multipass scene. Multipass. There we go. So they get on board. Cornelius is having a drink with his robot bartender. But the young fella that comes back and says, the real Corbin Dallas appeared. I thought you were going to kill me. So Cornelius gives him the key to the temple. Says, you go there and wait for us. He says, I don't want to go to Egypt. And Cornelius is going to try and get on the plane. They keep calling it a plane, but it's a spaceship. Anyway, so these two arrive, pretending to be Corbin Dallas and plus one. These are obviously the Mangalores. She's saying, you're Corbin Dallas, are you? And he says, yes, I am. And his face starts going all funky look. The dragger, they don't get aboard, obviously. Anyway, we see these are the hostesses. Is that what they call them? Cabin crew, they call them these days, don't they? So they've got some not weird, distinctive faces in this film. I'm sure she's a lovely person. But some very distinctive features in this film. So they're looking after them. It's going to be a big shootout now with the cops and the Mangalore, the distraction. Cornelius tries to sneak aboard. Anyway, Ruby Rod's appearing now. Here he comes. There he is. Ruby Rod's here with Chris Tucker. Goes a bit over the top. It's funny, but isn't it a bit too much for me? But we'll skip over him. Here he is. He's seducing women and stuff. But he is funny. He is funny. But obviously Corbin don't want anything to do with him. But because he's won the prize, he's supposed to take part in Ruby Rod's show. Anyway, so cabin crew, sexy cabin crew, getting everybody ready. They're putting people in these little chambers where they'll send them to sleep when they go to Floston Paradise. I don't know why they're sending them to sleep. Maybe I don't know. They just do. Because it's not as if it takes them a long time to get there. Because remember, they're on a clock. They've got 48 hours. Anyway, never mind. Get ready to set off. This is where she's learned to speak English now as Lilu, suddenly. And so she's explaining to him that she's the fifth element and she's the supreme being and she will protect him and all that. Obviously, he's in love with her. There's not, to be honest, there's not a lot of chemistry between Bruce Willis and Milla Jovovich in this, but anyway. But some of these cabin crew are super attractive. Some of them not so much, but, but anyway. Why she's been seduced by Ruby Rod in some way. Anyway, they find out that there's parasites, vermin in the landing gear. So these fellas are going in to get rid of those, and this is how Cornelius gets on board and gets in through the landing gear, I presume. Anyway, he does get in. All right, so yeah, Zor's getting a call from Mr. Shadow. I think this is that bit. Hang on. Again, I think it's this bit. No, it must be late. It might be this bit. Oh no, he's getting that's it, of course. He's getting a call from his right-hand man, saying he couldn't get through. He tried being Corbin Dallas, and it didn't work because obviously Corbin Dallas is already aboard. So he's phoning Zorg, telling him, "Sorry, boss, I couldn't do it, and it won't happen again." And Zorg says, "I know it won't," and blows him up. Taps in a code on his computer thing and blows him up. Anyway, right, so the ship's getting ready for takeoff. The sexual overtones in amongst this the explosion. It's going to blow him up now. There we go. I know. Blows him up. So that's the end of that character. Anyway, they're flying off. So that's a cool effects. It goes into hyperspace or whatever. So they're on the way to Floston Paradise. Oh, by the way, the dark planet's still growing, but now it's sending out radio signals, as you can see. Obviously, faster than the speed of light. I don't know. It's no science. There's no science in this film. So it's sending out radio signals, and it says it's like it's making a call. That's like this fella says it. It says maybe he wants to make a call because it's gobbling up all the communication satellites as well. And this fella, who we saw in, if you watch my Friday Night Appointment with Fear, we saw this fella in, what do they call it now? Woman in Black, the Daniel Radcliffe Woman in Black film. We saw him in that. Anyway, so this is the call that Zorg gets from Mr. Shadow. So Mr. Shadow's saying, he's got to get the stones, got to stop the fifth element and all that, and and we get to see more of the ooze coming down his face, and it is do his job for Mr. Shadow. Don't know why he's doing it. Maybe Mr. Shadow's promised he won't kill him, but supposed to be destroying all life, isn't it? But never mind. Right, they've arrived at Floston Paradise, and this is the hotel. It's like a ship. I suppose like a cruise liner, isn't it? But I think it's like hovering. I think the plane docks with it. Right, so off we go. They all get greeted Hawaiian style for some reason. Anyway, so are these famous? I've seen these in other stuff. This like Hawaiian band. That's particularly him. I've seen them in other stuff. I'm sure they're famous. Anyway, so here we are. Let's say cool sets and ready for the festivities. But they find Cornelius wrapped up in all this piping, and they obviously take him away as a stowaway in it. So I don't think we've seen him for a while now. See him again. Corbin being shown his room. Is expected to go to see the Divas show, and is expected to take part in Ruby Rod's show and all that. So he's got stuff to do. remember who's on the phone to him now. Anyway, this is the Diva arriving. Plava Laguna. Oh, there's Lee Evans, by the way, who's a famous British comedian, stand-up comedian. He's really funny, very sweaty. He's got a very active stand-up routine, and he moves about a lot and jumps about, and he gets very sweaty. And he's a very visual stand-up comedian, but he's really funny. You might have seen him in There's Something About Mary. He was in that as well. He's been in other stuff as well. Anyway, so there she is, the Diva. We'll see her singing in a bit in that famous scene. This is one of the Diva's assistants speaking to Lilu. There she is, saying, after the show, meet us here after the show, and you'll get the stones. He was in that Mars Doctor, right? Doctor Who, right? I have no idea. As a unit guy, I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It could have been. I have no idea. Anyway, ow, got an itch there. Ow. Right, so off we go. They're getting ready now. It's like dinner time. It's about 8 o'clock, and I think they said earlier on it'd ascend higher to get a better view of the planet and stuff, because there's 400 beaches and stuff, but they're going up, for dinner, for the show and all that. So up they go. The president's listening to Ruby Rod's show now between, I think it's 5 and 7 or something like that, or 7 and 9, I can't remember. Anyway, so here he is. So Bruce has got to put up with him. Don't know why he's not looking for Lilu. Say Lilu's off doing her thing. You think he'd be trying to find Lilu, but he don't seem to be. He seems to be getting swept along by Ruby Rod. He keeps sticking his microphone in his face. He keeps going, saying one-word responses. But anyway, we see that the Mangalore are on board. That's the head Mangalore. Don't ask me his name. Can't remember. Here he goes. He's in with all his chaps. See him in a minute. He goes in there and we see all. There we go. All his soldiers are in there with him. So they're getting ready for something. Then it's time for the show. And the Diva comes out, singing her song. I would sing it for you, but I won't want to put her to shame. Oh dear. But it's the famous song, isn't it? She's singing. Starts off singing, like an aria, an opera song. I don't know. It's probably something famous, just not to me. But then it goes into a pop song in a minute. When Lilu starts fighting, when she comes across the Mangalores, there we go. Anyway. Yes, if I sing it, I might trip the copyright gods. Yes, I could do. Because I'm that good. Oh dear. Anyway, she's still singing away. I hear they're learning now. The captain's learning there's a ship approaching and wanting to dock for repairs, and so the captain says, "Yeah, let it dock at whatever." And it turns out it's Zorg arriving. Here he is. Oh, she's at it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Bloody thing. Oh. Pulled all my stuff over now. Bloody cat. Been a pain in the ass these last 2 days. Where were we? I'm in a mood now. Let me have a drink. Calm down. Bloody animal. Right, it's Zorg arriving. obviously he's coming for the stones. Nobody knows where the stones are. They presume that they're in a box. But, obviously they're not. This is where the Mangalores arrive at the Diva's suite. So Lilu's got to intercept them. So she starts having a fight. This is where the music goes all funky. He starts doing oh, giving it all that. But she's fighting with the Mangalores, taking them out because she's the supreme being. And takes them all out just as the song ends. And there's the box that she thinks the 4 stones are in, but obviously they're not. So Zorg appears, so he wants the box, so she throws it to him, and like flips up into the vents because she likes going in vents, doesn't she? But Zorg starts shooting at her, and she gets basically trapped in there. She doesn't get shot, but she's not doing well. Anyway, the Mangalores take over the concert hall, and they start shooting, and people are panicking, and they shoot the diva. So Bruce catches her, and so there's all this going on, all this action. Zorg thinks he's got his stones in his box. We see that there's a bomb on board with a 20-minute countdown. Hang on, stop playing. There we go. And as the diva dies, she tells Corbin that the stones are in her. For some reason, he doesn't understand at first. Eventually, he twigs. But she was quite plain, the stones are in her. So there we see. Oh, and she's also telling him that he's got to be strong for, the soup for Lilu, because she's not as strong as she makes out she is, and she needs someone to love her. So it's all about love in the end. So she's there being all sad. But Zorg's going back to his ship, and she dies, says the stones are in me. And then this great scene where he opens up the box. There we go. He opens up the box and he starts laughing, then starts crying immediately. And he's laughing maniacally, and then he's going, oh, they're not in there. So he's got to go back in, try and find the stones again. Anyway, Corbin realizes, they get interrupted by a Mangalore, but Corbin soon takes him out. And he gives Ruby Rod a gun and says, if he moves, shoot him. And he does, but accidentally, because it makes him jump. Corbin realizes that the stones are inside. There they are. They're inside the diva. So he pulls them out and gives them. For some reason, he gives them to Ruby Rod to guard. So these universe-saving stones he gives to that idiot. But anyway, loads of action ensues, shooting and blowing up and all this stuff. There we go. All this stuff's going on. Boom. Shooting and all that. Big guns, rockets, look, it's all kicking off for these Mangalores. But Bruce Willis sorts them all out. He takes care of it all. He's some person that's apparently deaf. But anyway, he pretends to surrender, but he obviously isn't doing. He's doing his other stuff. There we go. And he's taking out the rest of the Mangalores that are there. He's planted like a grenade. He's thrown a grenade up that's on a timer, and he says we've got to we count to 10, and then go. There we go. They all blow up. What else? Here we go. We're down to 10 minutes for this bomb that's going to blow up the entire ship. They're going now to the I don't know, control center or something. We find Lee Evans again, and the rest of the Mangalores have hostages in there, the captain and all that, and we find that Cornelius is in there as well. And Corbin says, which one of the Mangalores is the leader? And then we find out instantly which one it is. And he says, if they take out the leader, the rest of the Mangalores won't know what to do. It's a bit of a cop out in it, but never mind. But he goes in. There we go. He says, if you surrender, if you don't surrender, we'll start killing people. But Corbin Dallas just goes in. Here we go. Just goes in and shoots him in the head. There we go. There we go. Takes out. So presumably the rest of the Mangalores just give up then, I suppose. Everybody's happy now, but then we learn that there's a bomb. But he wants to go find Lilu. There we sees her on her arm on the monitor. So he goes to save Lilu. And we find there's a bomb. Chris Tucker says, there can't be a bomb. These ships have sensors on and the alarms will go off if there's a bomb, and then the alarms start going off. Immediately. There we go. So they've got to abandon ship because there's a bomb on board. Remember, this is Zorg's bomb, by the way. I think the Mangalores took it. It was one of Zorg's things. Zorg's coming out of his ship again, and he kills those guards because he's got to go and find the stones and all the escape pods. Let me do this now. Let me get that to go faster. Pressed the button. I don't know what I've pressed. Faster, but never mind. Where were we? The lifeboats are being launched and all that. Escape pods, whatever you want to call them. And as they're getting this elevator here, Zorg comes out of that elevator there with his big gun. So I said they never cross paths, him and I don't think they do anyway. Him and Corbin Dallas. Anyway, so he's going off to look for heading for the Divas suite. They're heading for Zorg's ship. They said that'll do. So they're going to take his ship to escape. There you go. Don't know a way out because the doors must have been closed. So they just use the ship's weapons to blow a hole in the side of the ship, enemy mine style. But anyway, Zorg's arrived at the Diva suite. It shuts down the bomb. I think with 5 seconds to spare or something like that. Did that show us? We got 5 seconds to spare. Shuts down that bomb. But little does he know. There we go. Let's go back again. This is the Mangalore. He says for the honor or whatever, and he presses a button, and it turns out that there were a Mangalore bomb there. So that bomb's going to go off. For some reason it's got a countdown that starts at 5. Don't know why. Just a coincidence. So that one's going to go, and there we go. The ship blows up. The hotel ship. But Corbin and them have escaped in Zorg's ship. That's the end of Zorg, by the way. So off they go. So they've got to head to Egypt now. There you go. They've got the stone, so they're heading for Egypt. She's not doing well, is Lilu. She's like getting weaker and weaker. To be honest, I don't know why. Her roots are showing there. That's not very good, is it? But anyway. So they're heading for Egypt now. By the way, the dark planet's suddenly gone into warp speed. It's heading for Earth at super fast speed. It'll be there in minutes. So they've got to get there as well. Yeah. There's no, space travel. There's no science involved. Anyway. By the way, while they're on the way, for some reason this takes a while. I don't know why, but she has a chance to look up war. I don't know why. She just decides to look up war on this computer. So that makes her sad because humans are always killing each other. There we go. So why should she save the universe if humans keep killing each other? Well, there's more than just humans in the universe, isn't there? As we've seen in this film. You know, there's the Mandosha ones and the Mangalores and whatever the diva was. You know, there's not just humans, there's others as well. Anyway, so they get to Egypt. Here we go. So, but she's not feeling well. There you go. She's all weak. She wasn't too weak to watch a bit of telly, though, was she? So they've got to work out now what to do. So they put the stones on these pillars. Where are we? There we go. But they don't know what to do to activate them. And it turns out they've got to use, the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. So one of them, they have to blow on it. That activates that one. Another one, Cornelius uses his sweat. Dark planet's coming. He uses his sweat on his hanky and drips that on, and that activates that one. What's the other one? There's one that's earth, so he just puts some, bit of sand on it because it's in Egypt, so he uses that. That activates that one. But the last one's fire, and that's Ruby Rod's one. He says, "I've got no fire," but luckily, Corbin's got his matches. In a minute, hang on, that's where we're seeing the others. They're working all that out. Hang on, not too far. Come on, matches. Have I gone too? There we go. There we go. So he's got his last match. We saw his boxer matches earlier on. He had two left in, and he used one to light a cig. So he had his last match, and he it doesn't go out. They all hold their breath, and that activates the last one. So then he's got to get Lilu to do her thing. She's got to stand in the middle and do her 5th element thing. Yeah, nice effects, sparkly stuff. But he's got to tell her that he loves her. I don't know why. He just has to make her magic work. So when he does that, she activates whatever. That's what he's saying. Tell her you love her. There you go. She activates and sends the sky beam up. You don't see sky beams now, do you? They've done away with them because everybody were taking the mickey out of sky beams. But there we go. And she destroys the dark planet, or destroys the intelligence in the dark planet, because it's actually still there. We see in a bit. They've destroyed that, so everything's cool. They've saved the day. Don't know what he's doing there on the floor. Don't know. I can't see him for me. Never mind. There's a fella on the floor there for no reason. Never mind. But the life in everywhere is saved. Everybody's happy. Everybody's celebrating. So they're back in New York now, and in this thing that they grew Lilo in, did Black Adam? Oh, right. Did Black Adam just have a scar? I haven't seen that, so I don't know. Oh, Shazam too. I haven't seen that either. Oh, right. So they must be in vogue again. Must sky beams, but we didn't see them for a while, did we? I think not since I don't know. I can't remember. Was it Avengers? Maybe a bit after that. I can't remember. They were everywhere though for a while, weren't they? Sky beams. Anyway, where were we? So they've saved the day, and now they're in. This is like a bit like a James Bond ending now. Corbin and Leela were in there being, healed or whatever. And the president arrives. Tiny Lister. Hang on. There he is, and he says they're in there being healed, etc. He says, "Well, go check on them." So he goes and has a look, and he says, "Oh, I've got to give them, a few minutes because they're, basically they're getting down. They're getting down in there." Then Corbyn's mother phones and starts giving the president loads of grief, saying, "You're not the president. The president's an idiot." And then that's and the nice ending. Then we see they're inside. We go inside, and there they are making out. Because they love each other and they've saved the universe, and that's the end of the film. There we go. So that's it. It's a cool film. It's a cool film. See if I can find out any names. I want to know who played the head Mangalore. No, it's not saying, is it? It's not showing up. Nope. Weird. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, so there we go. That's the end of that film. It's a cool film. I really like The Fifth Element. It's a good action. It's an action blockbuster. It is. It's got, let's say, great effects in it, and it's got a good story. It's a bit goofy at the end, you know. Love saves the day. Very Japanese, isn't it? Love saves the day at the end. You know, almost anime in its plotting. But anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of The Fifth Element. So we'll leave it there. I've got done a 2-hour film down into 1 hour and 22 minutes. I've skipped a lot. But anyway. Right. So I don't know what I'm doing next week. I haven't decided. This Friday night, we'll be back with Friday Night Appointment with Fear, which is Phantoms. Apologies for last week. I couldn't do it. I had an emergency that cropped up suddenly. So I had to cancel that and postpone it. So we'll do Phantoms this Friday. There we go. You were the bombing Phantoms, yo. Anyway, so we'll do that this Friday. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks, Windgrace, and thanks DJ for joining in. And wherever you are, look after each other. Hang on, let me get sorted. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say that. By the way, have you noticed in my Magnificent Mondays, I've slightly changed it. I've put a couple of extra. I've taken out the singing in the rain bit at the end, and I've put a couple of others in. See if you can guess what they are. But anyway, so I'm going to go now. So I'll see you later.